The best crochet stuff from Amazon. Clover hooks. Crochet cafe book. Yarn backpack. So much room for yarn, tools, and more. Made so you can crochet on the go.
Oh my God!
Buddy, I can't figure out what to crochet, so I'm just gonna reach into the yarn bin and pull out a color, and I'm gonna make something. Green. Now I just have to think of something to actually make with this. I think I found something to try, but I've never made it before. I now have 4 little legs. The legs have been added on, and it's looking a little rough. This is what the body looks like now. Honestly, not sure how it's gonna turn out, and I made a tail as well. This is way bigger and is taking way longer than I anticipated, but I'm determined to finish this. I think we're finally getting somewhere. After too many hours and almost a full ball of yarn, he's done. Oh my god, I love him.
Oh my God.
Isn't it great?
Chris.
I know, it's my dream.
I have goosebumps everywhere.
Milk tea, drink milk tea. Milk tea, milk tea, just for me. Milk tea, drink milk tea. Milk tea, just for me. Hot, milk tea, hot. When I touch, nice. Milk tea's nice. When I smell, sweet. Milk tea, sweet. When I taste, hot, nice, sweet milk tea. Touch, smell, taste. Milk tea, drink milk tea. Milk tea, just for me. Milk tea, drink milk tea. Milk tea, just for me. Hot, milk tea's hot. When I touch, nice. Milk tea's nice. When I smell, sweet. Milk tea, sweet. When I taste, hot, nice, sweet milk tea.
This is how to crochet a flat circle. This tutorial is suitable for beginners, but you will already need to know how to double crochet, chain and slip stitch. I will link my tutorials to these in the description. To start with, we're going to make a magic ring. I will link my full slow tutorial for this method in the description. So I wrap the yarn around my first finger 3 times. I then put my hook under the first 2 strands, grab the third strand and pull it under those 2 strands. I now gently take the magic ring off of my finger and make my starting chain. This will be a chain of 3, which counts as our first double crochet. Round 1 is 12 double crochet total, so we need to make 11 more double crochet into that magic ring. Watch what I'm doing here. When I'm making my double crochet, I'm going around both of those strands of the magic ring. I've slowed this down to remind you what a double crochet looks like. So I'm just going to skip ahead until I've done my 11 double crochet plus my chain of 3. I forgot to film me tightening this with the blue yarn, so I pull on the yarn end and then one of those strands start to tighten. So I give that strand a gentle pull and this will tighten the centre of the magic ring, give the tail end one last pull, and ta-da, you don't have a hole in the centre of your crochet anymore. So back to the blue yarn. Here I've finished off my round, so I've done a chain of 3 plus 11 double crochet. I'm now going to slip stitch into the top of that starting chain, and this finishes off round 1. For round 2, we're going to make 2 double crochets into every stitch. So we start with our chain of 3 that counts as our double crochet, and then we make another double crochet into that same starting chain space. So we've turned 1 stitch into 2. This is how we increase in crochet. So you're going to do this all the way around. Into every stitch, make 2 double crochets. When we work in the round, every round needs to increase its number of stitches to stop it cupping and maintain it being flat rather than curling inwards. So once we've done our decreases, you should have 24 double crochets. This includes that starting chain that counts as a double crochet. We're now going to slip stitch in the top of that starting chain, and this finishes off round 2. So in round 3, we're going to increase by 12 again, but we're going to space our increases out. So we've made a chain of 3, and then we're going to make another double crochet into that stitch. And then into the next stitch, we're only going to make 1 double crochet. So on this round, you're doing an increase into every other stitch. So you do an increase in the next stitch, so 2 double crochets in this stitch, and then 1 in the next, and then 2, and then 1. So every round, to keep our circle flat, we do 12 increases total, however big this circle gets. So this round will have 36 stitches total. So here I am at the end of round 3. You can see our circle's laying pretty much flat. So I'm ready to slip stitch to finish off this round. So like I said, every round we do, we increase by 12. So the next round we would make an increase, and then we would have the next 2 stitches would just have 1 double crochet in, and the next one would have an increase. So you can see how this is getting bigger and bigger. Every round we increase by 12. So this round will be 48 stitches. The next round would be 60 stitches. The round after that would be 72 stitches. And it doesn't matter how big this circle gets, you just follow this formula, and this ensures that your circle stays pretty much flat. If we don't do enough stitches when we work in the round, it cups, and if we do too many, the edges start to ruffle. So this can give you an idea of what might be going wrong if you're struggling with your crochet in the round. So this is what your crochet circle should look like once you've finished. This is how to crochet a solid granny square. It's a slower version than my previous tutorial. It is aimed at beginners, but you will already need to know how to chain, how to double crochet and how to slip stitch. To start your square, make a slip knot and then chain 4. You will then slip stitch in the first chain, and this will make a chain ring. You might prefer to use the magic ring technique instead to start your square. So I've made my chain of 4. And I'm making a slip stitch in that very first chain, and this will make a ring of chains that will form the centre of the square. I'm now chaining 3. This chain 3 counts as our first double crochet and will throughout this square. You can see here I've got this ring in the centre. That's where I'm going to be making my first round of stitches. As I crochet my first round of stitches, I lay the yarn tail alongside that chain ring. If I manage to do this with all of my stitches on the first row, that's how we cinch together the centre of the square. So we're going to make our first double crochet into that ring, making sure we're crocheting around that tail. Now we're going to make another double crochet into that ring. So this is our first group of 3 double crochet. You may want to move the stitches around to make space for your next stitches. Chain 2 to make a corner and then work another 3 double crochets. You need to continue this around until you have 4 groups of 3 double crochet with chain 2s in between the groups of 3 double crochet to make the 4 corners of our square. Stop before you join the end of this square because we work the last corner a little bit differently. So here I've got my 4 groups of 3 double crochet and 3 of the corners done. I managed to crochet over my tail, so if I give this tail a gentle pull, it will pull the centre of our square closed so it's not too open. To work the last corner of this round is a bit different. So first of all we make a chain of 1 and then we're going to make a single crochet into the top of that chain 3, just like I'm doing here. So we're going to yarn over, pull it through that chain and then yarn over and pull through those 2 loops on our hook. This single crochet counts as the second chain of that corner. This means that on every single new round we will always be in the corner of the square. To start round 2, chain 3. This counts as our first double crochet and then make 2 more double crochet around that single crochet that we're pretending is the second chain of our corner. You might find other tutorials will tell you to do 2 double crochet in this corner and then work a crochet into the top of the starting chain. I find doing 3 and then skipping that starting chain and doing a double crochet into the second double crochet along gives a neater finish and stops it skewing. So work a double crochet into the second and third stitches of that 3 double crochet loop. You can see I've made 5 double crochets and we're at a corner. So in this corner we're going to make 2 double crochets, then chain 2, then 3 double crochets. This will form the corner of our square. Again, other tutorials will tell you to do 2 double crochets, chain 2, 2 double crochets. I do 3 because I skip the first stitch of every group when I'm crocheting. This means that you get much neater finish. You can see that actually the top loop of that first stitch is kind of hidden by the third stitch anyway, so it doesn't look gappy or anything. So now I'm going to work a double crochet into the second stitch. I'm skipping a stitch and then I'm working a double crochet into the other 2 stitches. We're at a corner again, so we're going to continue what we did before. In each corner we do 2 double crochet, chain 2, 3 double crochet, skip a stitch, and then work 2 more double crochet until you finish the round. So I've worked 2 double crochet into that final corner. I'm chaining 1 and then I'm working a single crochet into the top of that starting chain, just like I did on the previous row. Every row you can follow this formula to get a square. However big you want your square to be, you just continue this. You start with a chain 3 and then you make 2 double crochets around that single crochet into the corner space at the base of the chain. You then skip your first stitch or starting chain and then work 1 double crochet into all of the other stitches along the side of the square until you get to the next corner, where you work 2 double crochet, chain 2, 3 double crochet. And then you continue this around until you finish the round of the square, and every round is the same as this. I will pop some written instructions for this round in the comments so that you can refer to it as your square gets bigger and bigger. You might find other tutorials make their solid granny squares differently. This is fine. Use whatever method or processes that make sense to you and work best for you. There is no right or wrong in crochet, just preferences for different techniques. You can see how the third row of my square is coming together. I'm continuing that formula with 2 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets in every corner, skipping the first stitch and making a double crochet into every other stitch along the side of the square. Hopefully now you understand how this square is constructed. Understanding the construction of your motifs makes it a lot easier to memorise. Here is an example of a 4-round granny square, and here is an example of a 6-round granny square. You can see that this
hospital for a couple months before I was stabilized. The other girls and I were not allowed to exercise at all, and we were locked in a common room for like 8 hours a day. I noticed a lot of girls would pass the time between meal times and therapy sessions by knitting. Over time, during the duration of my stay, I picked up the hobby as well. I have probably about like 20 scarves from my stay. Knitting really became a coping mechanism for me during my eating disorder recovery. And it was a great thing for me to do during therapy sessions and at mealtime to help alleviate my anxiety. When I was finally discharged, I continued knitting, and I actually decided to start a fiber arts business to make enough money to sustain my hobby.
Swagger down the street with your red lips and funky beat. You better hold your head up to the sky. I'm gonna roll with you till the day I die.
I'm so much sure, I got Milty.